What is up, guys? This is your boy Zilla, and welcome to today's episode as I'll be giving you my official wish list for Bethesda's new IP, Starfield. But before I get into that, please hit that subscribe button, also hit the notification bell so you get a notification every time I make a video, guys. Let's get into this because we've been hearing a whole lot of rumors about Starfield for the past 2 months. We've had image leaked, we've had a couple of details about the game leaked, the time frame that when it's going to come out. But the real question is, what does Bethesda have to do with this game to get them back in the good grace of gamers after the colossal disaster that was Fallout 76? Personally, for me, what I want to see out of Starfield is them have a solar system sized map where you can go to different locations on your ship via fast travel and have different space stations in between each of them, whether they're giant spaceys, little shuttles, abandoned space stations, like kind of what we saw in Alien Isolation. Just having all these different scenarios that you can go to in between the space of the planets, and for a particular on the planets you can land in different locations, but each of them has this giant size map, which puts Bethesda in its specialty of making these thick Fallout 4 type maps where you are getting a whole lot of great content, maybe in a conduced area, and maybe having different regions for each planet. So maybe in Starfield there's like 5 different planets that are the size of Skyrim or Fallout 4, and you just go to the different parts and there's multicultural ecosystems, but there are also space station cities, also port cities, docks, different places where you can explore, and some undiscovered areas to give you that Fallout 4 vibe of exploration, while also having, in contrast, with large busy cities with different ecosystem and structures and multicultural races to interact with. So I think that would be a nice two-way contrast, and a lot of things that we're going to see, I think, in Starfield are going to have the Fallout 4 DNA. Fallout 4 structure system is perfect for this type of game, going to different areas, a crafty system. Bethesda has already mastered these different aspects in their last outing with the Fallout franchise. Also, I would like to see major event shifts and more dynamic storytelling. Like, there could be big wars that a whole race gets annihilated, but then you can have these smaller, more personal storylines like we see in Fallout 4, and just having those different levels of experiences and having those different levels of choices in what we are seeing as a space exploration game with Fallout 4 and Skyrim DNA would just be absolutely amazing. We know that Bethesda is working on the technology and has improved their engineering staff by twofold now, so hopefully we will see that, and that's why I personally want to see out Starfield. But I think that's a pillar that could be wasted if the dialogue system isn't correct. The dialogue system is not good and the stories they come up with are not good, then I think that totally mutes the point and puts it in that Fallout 4 type category where all the mechanics are good to a certain degree, especially at the time for Fallout 4, but the story is okay at best and just downright plain at worst, you know what I'm saying? So just having a specialized dialogue tree story and really marking up with those with new mechanics and new systems that can give you more in-depth stories is what Bethesda really needs to hone in this time, instead of just focusing on the mechanics and the crafting and the building systems of the game. And also, what I also want to see, and I know people may disagree with this, but we haven't seen a lot out of Starfield. Imagine if it was a space fantasy game, sort of in the vein of Warhammer 40k in some ways with their different mages. Maybe it is a mixing, a crossover in sorts of their two biggest IPs, Fallout and Skyrim Elder Scrolls. Just imagine, not only having the sort of scientific side of the space fantasy genre, but also having the magical fantasy like side, mixing them both together. Maybe that's what this project is, and if so, Bethesda is in their full element, as they have worked and made great games out of both styles, and they're just mixing them together to make this really unique game that'll be unlike anything the industry has ever played before, especially at this scale and at this quality. And to finally top it all off, of course, we have to talk about it having mod support. And I think the best way for them to have mod support for this game is have planet creation. Now, I'm not talking about full plant creation system, even though that's probably what it'd be called, but just building a whole region that's maybe the size of Fallout 4, Skyrim, and games of the such, and being able to make your own stories out of it. I think it would be the ultimate creation tool, especially in a fantasy like game like I was saying earlier, where you can mix both styles of fantasy and scientific fantasy together and just let it loose on mod supporters and just all these guys that have really creative minds and having great quest structure, maybe making up for some of the faults of the game. And now you just have endless content, especially from the perspective of them now probably being an Xbox exclusive. They want to continue to have you a reason to subscribe to Game Pass, and having mod support for a single player game like Fallout or Skyrim has greatly boosted their longevity as a single player game that's usually only played to maybe 20 to 30 hours, maybe 15 hours by the average person. That only boosts the excitement, that only boosts the content of the community, and it makes live service friendly from a subscription standpoint like Game Pass as a single player game, which is really deadly when you put that in conjunction with the different online games that Xbox already has in its portfolio. Now you're playing single player games that have longevity legs because of their mod support in the community, and that's exactly what Xbox needs for its platform. And it so happens that Bethesda specializes in making those type of games that are highly moddable and highly interactive as a single player game that lasts for years and years on end and have a very tight-knit community. So I think if Bethesda does all this and maybe some a little bit more on top of that, this game is going to definitely be Game of the Year. Like, it's no doubt in my mind. The only thing that might be able to stop it is Cyberpunk, but if it rolls into maybe 2022, I can't see a game that could stop it coming within that time frame unless GTA comes, but I predict that's coming 2023 or 2024. So when we really look at it, whatever year it comes out in maybe the next 2 years, it's going to probably be one of the biggest and best games of this early period generation for the PS5 and Xbox Series X. But guys, make sure you hit that subscribe button, also the notification bell. Also put down in the comment section, what do you want to see out of Starfield, and what mechanics or new features do you want Bethesda to add? Put that in the comment section. This has been the best Gojira in gaming news. Sign off guys. See y'all later.